Good morning. How are you? It dawned on me yesterday when I was sitting for our Harry Potter marathon that I had been sitting a lot yesterday. And I wanted to share some ideas with you about sitting well, especially maybe during this time when you may be doing some more sitting than usual. So I have about 5 ideas to go through to help you think about. And that's the thing is often when we're sitting, we just don't think about sitting and sitting well. But there are some things that you can do to set yourself up really nicely to sit at ease. So let's go through them. The first thing I want you to consider is at the place where you sit a lot is to start to pay attention to the mechanics of your body when you're sitting. And so, for example, are you sitting in a chair where your feet are, you're straining to have your feet hit the ground? And if that is the case, you can easily support yourself with a towel or with blocks, something to get your feet in a naturally kind of a 90-degree position from your eyes. And then you can start looking at the rest of your body. So if you're sitting and your arms are at like an L from your body, then you're doing great. But if you're having to kind of contort your body to do your work, or you might want to make some adjustments. Same with the neck. If you can set your monitor up so that you're not looking up too high and you're not looking down too low, this kind of stuff, like when you're really got everything close to your body, can start to really bother your neck. The next thing I want to ask you, it sounds funny, but if you can take your hands and put them underneath your tush, and you'll notice that there's sit bones under there. And if you rock forward on your sit bones and then rock back on your sit bones a few times, you're going to notice that there's a spot where you can kind of naturally sit on top of your sit bones. And once you're in that position, you can start to evaluate some interesting things. So for example, for myself, I noticed that my back is off of my chair, and that can get laborious for me. And so I might want to, just a minute, take a blanket and put it behind myself. Oh, that's nice. So that I'm supporting myself in a good sitting position. So I don't have to work really hard to kind of prop myself into that position. Because often what happens is I have a friend who, when she works, she crosses her leg and sits on one foot. Now, we have habits when we sit, and I think it's just interesting to start paying attention to what those habits are, because those habits might be causing some dysfunction in your body in standing and moving around simply by the way that you sit habitually. Yeah? Does that make sense? So set yourself up well. Play with sitting so that you can sit well, especially if you're at work. Because oftentimes when you're working, there's this kind of internal tension that starts to clench you, and you get really focused on what you're doing. And if you haven't set yourself up well, I'll find myself in these weird, twisted kind of sitting positions that end up actually kind of feeling not good in my body after. All right. The third thing that I want you to consider doing is so first one, sit well. Play with your sit bones. See if you can sit well to set yourself up to sit well. If you need blocks under your feet, if you need a blanket behind your back, if you need to adjust your chair, your desk, your monitor, figure out how to set yourself up well. And then the third thing is to break up your sitting. This is a huge one. Again, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I'll be working on a project and I will be you know, an hour and a half in, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I need to get up. So the recommendations are 5 minutes for every 30 minutes. And so some helpful tips that have worked for me: drink a ton of water so that you have to get up and go to the bathroom. When we're up and go to the bathroom, do a few things, you know, just walk around a little bit. Yeah, move, get up and move. Don't stay locked down in your position. Some things to avoid or to consider at least becoming aware of is crossing your ankles, crossing your knees for an extended period of time. You kind of want to be aware of how often you're doing that. Avoid slumping and avoid sitting for too long without moving. And the last thing I would recommend is to change positions. So about usually once a month, I'll just kind of change things around at my desk. I'll change the the position of my desk ever so slightly so that I am not constantly creating a habit and making more habits. So I'll just kind of twist things around. I might put my computer up a little bit. I might lower my chair a little bit, just kind of mess around with where you're sitting so that you are constantly shifting and changing things when you're working. That's all I have. I hope you're terrific and that you're doing well, and have a lovely day.